The intro music gets me every time.
Okay, we're done.
Yes. Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where the tea is piping hot and we are always ready to spill. I'm Logan Murphy, today with an empty cup because I'm drinking iced tea out of a Raising Cane's cup.
I'm so jealous.
I'm sorry.
They don't have that here.
Oh no!
They don't have food here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and I'm Lucy. And I was like, why are you
I was like, is she gonna do it? Yes. Lucy is back on the channel. Welcome back, my love.
Thank you for having me back.
Always, always. If you did not check out Lucy's first instance on the channel, make sure to check out our top 21 lip syncs of 2021 video, because that was a really good time where we all disagreed a lot.
The whole time.
The whole time. There was a lot of alcohol involved, at least on mine and Natalia's ends. It's a lot of alcohol. The fair. I think there was a lot going on that day. But Lucy, how are you liking season 14 so far?
I'm liking it more than I thought I would.
Me too.
I didn't think I was going to like this season.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't.
It's just a lot.
Well, I think I doubted some of the contestants based off the promos. Like, oh, I don't think it's going to be that interesting. I didn't feel like I would connect with the contestants or be entertained, and I'm thoroughly entertained. So,
me too. Yeah, the Meet the Queens, like we did a cast assessment, and the Meet the Queens was interesting in that I felt like a lot of the personalities that we got were very like good, but are they going to make good TV? And while this is like this episode was the first like foray into any sort of like drama that we've had so far this season, I've still found the first now 4 episodes to be incredibly entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why we're here. We're talking about Rude Paul's best friends make him laugh Southern hospitality race. I've now added the Southern hospitality because I mean we'll talk about it. Yeah, episode 4 of all that. I should probably, I mean, y'all read the title, you know why we're here. But yes, we start off this episode. June Jambalaya is gone too soon, and I'm still sad about it.
I'm a little torn on it. Like, I would have liked to have seen more, but she was so defeated last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, you could kind of feel it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I still a chance, like down the road. I hope she gets another chance. I think it's because she's still kind of new, and I feel like that the first week just ruined her head.
I mean, I still stand behind the fact that I don't think she should have been in the bottom in week 1. Personally, I still think it should have been Alyssa. That's just me. But I completely agree with you. It really shook. Go ahead.
Huh?
Oh, you were saying something?
Oh, I was saying that's also me. I agree with you about Alyssa should have been in the bottom, and June shouldn't have. But.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those, and like in the ball of all things too. Like she got a really nasty distribution of challenges that just because I think if she had maybe been in this challenge, I think she may have been at least safe. Maybe. But Honestly, who knows? So yes, June is gone. Maddie is remorseful, but happy to be here. And Jasmine won't stop talking. Jasmine won't stop talking.
Not at all. But I don't know. It's also kind of hard within the episode because everybody kind of ganged up on Jasmine.
It
and
really,
I kind of felt at one point she wouldn't even be able to blink, and they'd be like, "Stop blinking!" Like literally. I felt like at one point, like, give her a second.
And I don't think the challenge aided it whatsoever, nor their interpretation of the challenge aided it whatsoever. So, we'll talk about all that because there's a lot going on. But she kind of poses a question to the group before they de-drag as to whether anyone was like upset that they didn't win this challenge. And before anyone could answer, she mentions that she wanted to win the ball going in. And like, while I understand that like every queen is going to have their one challenge that's like, oh, I think I'm going to do well here. Oh, this plays directly into my strengths. If Trixie Mattel taught us anything, it's that don't rest on your laurels, because if you're a designer, you can be in the bottom for a ball. If you're a comedy queen, you can be in the bottom for Snatch Game. Like, it's not, nothing is set in stone on Drag Race ever. No. Unless it's, you know, highly overproduced and the producers are telling the queens exactly what to do, which, I mean, we're almost there, but not nearly there yet. But yes, we come back into the workroom the next day, and Kornbread calls out Miss Jasmine for talking over people. What did you? This interaction specifically was the one that I still don't really necessarily know how to feel about it. How do you feel about this whole Kornbread Jasmine situation?
I almost felt like I missed part of the conversation because it felt like Kornbread kind of came in a little hotter than she should have. But like I said, you could have missed something. It also could have been production, like, oh, say this or do this. But also, they're all going through all this stress, and Kornbread's kind of going through her own.
Yeah.
Her own thing. I feel like she's on the verge of self-sabotage. So she's kind of directing that to somebody else, and Jasmine's the easy one.
Yep.
So, and like I said, I feel like a lot of people just kind of like almost like Jasmine was her animal for a second. They're all like attacking for a second. And it's just like that really, it felt a little blown out of proportion, but like I said, we don't know the whole.
A lot of things could have happened that were taped, that weren't taped. But in the words of RuPaul, nothing you say or do matters unless that camera's rolling. So
yeah.
I don't know. It felt almost a little Aiden Zane for me, because like Aiden has her own problems, and I'm not here to defend Aiden Zane in any way, shape, or form. However, on season 12, the way that she was kind of backed into this corner was very like it gave me those sort of vibes, which I'm not always the biggest fan of. But again, they're in such a pressure cooker that like certain things are going to happen that wouldn't happen in everyday life. So, and at the end of the day, there are going to be people you don't mesh with or mesh with as much. So, that's that. We'll talk more about it when we get into the challenge itself, but yeah. So we don't get a mini challenge because who needs them? Am I right?
No, there wasn't a mini challenge, was there?
Nope. No, Ru said, you know what's funny? Super teasers. And I'm like, y'all could have just get more TikToks and more hot, almost naked men. Like, it's fine. Honestly. Make the week 2 girls do the wheel photo shoot and make the week 1 girls do the TikTok. Just make that a mini. Y'all already have all the stuff. Just do it. No. We find out that the maxi challenge for this week is to make super teasers for season 14. We always get some variation of this like improv comedy, sketch comedy challenge. This harkened back for me to one of my favorite challenges, which is the Untucked lip sync, spoken word lip sync challenge from season 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy to see this challenge. It felt unique and different, which is strange for Drag Race because they haven't been doing that a whole lot recently. But they decided that because Willow won the ball and Maddie survived the lip sync, that they were going to be team captains. Sure. And we find out that Team Willow is obviously Willow, as well as Kornbread, Lady Camden, Bosco, Carrie, Georges, and Jasmine, who was picked last and got to pick her team. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Team Maddie is obviously Maddie, along with Deja, Daya, Angie, Alyssa, and Orion. For me, the choice of team was a little... I understood it, but yet it was still a little bit confusing on Jasmine's part.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I figured she wouldn't want to even have that be part of anything going into a challenge. I wouldn't.
I absolutely would not.
I'd be like, let's deal with this somewhere else, not in a team.
Yeah. I do think, though, I guess we can dive into it now. So they start talking about what they're going to do, and Jasmine is kind of doing this, like, weird, like, everybody say your piece, I'm going to write it down, and then I will bring up all of my thoughts at the end. And I'm like, it gave me almost like a holier than thou, though I do understand, like, the where she was coming from because of all of this tension that she'd been having with Kornbread. They ultimately decide that one of their skits they're going to do is basically taking this exact situation and blowing it out of proportion. And so she's now going to be doing this scene with Kornbread and Carrie. Which I thought, skipping ahead for a second, I thought the end product of that was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was incredibly smart on Jasmine's part. To sort of take exactly what was already happening in the show and use that to her advantage, and to also boost up Kornbread and Carrie in that regard, though it didn't really work out for either of them. But that was kind of their idea going into it. Meanwhile, Maddie's team is sort of taking the idea of like the iconic Drag Race moments and like doing new spins on those. So obviously the Shangela moment and the Silky moment, which are two of the greatest moments of all time.
Yeah. It was... I don't even know which team I liked better, but it's kind of like you saw it in the scoring kind of.
Mm-hmm. They both teams made me laugh a lot, and that's kind of where I'm judging with it. We'll talk about the judging because I might actually disagree with the tops. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe. Was there anything in the filming of the skits with Michelle and Carson, which was interesting because then Ross was the homosexual white man on the judging panel this week.
Did she do it with Carson?
I thought she did.
I don't remember.
I don't either. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But what did you think of, was there anything in the filming that stood out to you?
Not really the filming so much. The one thing I did like is that they allowed them to come up with their own storylines. because that's one thing I hate about the acting is like I feel like everything's already produced for a certain person to have a certain role and it doesn't feel natural. So it felt like filming, I was watching it and I'm like, okay, this is a chaotic mess. And it was a chaotic mess at the end, but I really think with them having their own material, they were a lot more at ease with the acting.
Yeah.
But also it's like you got a little bit more of them personally, because I mean there were people in this episode that were nowhere on my radar at all until this episode.
Yeah, I would agree. It was unusual for Drag Race in my eyes to like let them do their own thing. And yet that's what I found, like you said, to be the most like engaging part of it, is that they all were kind of really able to do what they wanted with this challenge, which is not the amount of flexibility that is normally given on Drag Race. It's given on Drag Race US. Because a lot of the other franchises they do their whole other thing. But I really liked the ability to make their own like concept, do all that kind of stuff. I mean, my favorite part, it might be skipping ahead ever so slightly, but you ugly bitch. I have been saying that nonstop since I watched the episode.
Yeah, Angeria was just great in that.
Angeria is a fucking star. Point blank, period. Like, it is so wild how good she's doing. And like, I'm not surprised, but a little bit.
I thought she would be good at runways, and I figured she would kind of fall in these kinds of challenges. I really thought acting she wouldn't do well, but I felt the same way about Deja, and there were some really good moments there too. But yeah, I think Angie's line was my favorite part of the whole thing.
I have a different favorite moment, but you ugly bitch was definitely one of the ones that stood out to me.
Almost any moment with her, because there was also, I don't remember who was holding her back, but like had a hold of her breast, and it was, just the look on her face when she looked at her like, let go of me. Like it was so, it just felt so natural and like
I believe it was Diabetes, if I remember correctly. I believe it was Dia.
But I mean, really, anywhere where Angeria was there, I liked it. Like even her moment with Deja, and they were like crying, like it was so stupid,
so dumb. Like dumb in the best way. They were the ones for me that kind of understood the stupid of this challenge. The two of them and Willow, which obviously, shocker, that's the top three. But they understood like the stupid necessary to do well in this challenge. And I think that set them over. There was one other person that I think really got that. We'll talk about the challenge, but so filming happens. We go back. It's elimination day in the workroom, and they're getting ready. And Alyssa gets her emotional storyline moment before she is subsequently sent home. And it's not even like I call it trauma mirror, because normally it is. But in this case, it's just like, oh yeah, my dad and I came out to each other, and my mom is a pageant queen. And I'm like, that's great. And I appreciated finally getting like a positive story in these moments, because we very rarely get any of them. Like in the last couple episodes, we've gotten like Willow's kidney disease, Maddie being a straight man, Carrie's difficulty with gender, and Kornbread's difficulty with her family. And it's so nice to get like, it was so refreshing to get this like oh, my mother is a fabulous pageant queen, and my dad is also gay, and we came out to each other. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, but I was also feeling in that moment, I was like, okay, so Alyssa's in trouble. Because
100%.
When they edit things, you're like, wow, you couldn't like foreshadow this at all.
You're either, whoever gets the trauma mirror moment, either is the winner of the challenge or is going home. It's a formula at this point. Like, it's one or the other, or like is in the bottom or something. Like, it's always some sort of formula. But I loved hearing that about Alyssa. One of the last things we heard about Alyssa. And then J-Lo pops on the screen. Not on Zoom or anything. It's just a video message.
At least she did it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was like, girl, you couldn't have gotten on Zoom for 10 minutes, but we got it nonetheless. So I was happy for them.
But I also have noticed that she has been replying to the queens with their looks. So, I mean, there's that. So,
I saw the one specifically I saw was to Carrie, which I love. We'll talk about Carrie. Yeah, that was the one I loved most specifically. I was like, that's cool. But yeah, I guess we're at the runway. Not much happened this episode.
No.
Other than just a good challenge and a pretty good runway. But yeah, so we go to the runway. I didn't pull RuPaul's look because I normally don't. I almost did because this is definitely one of my favorite RuPaul looks in a long time.
I don't remember what she was wearing.
It was like it was like this gold piece with the headband and the classic like Ru hair. And then there was like all of this fringe coming off, but the fringe was like kind of gold and kind of like baby blue. I just thought it looked so good on her. Zaldi knows what he's doing 97% of the time. So
I mean, he's been dressing
good for you, Zaldi.
87 years. So.
Literally. And we get guest judge. Loni Love is back. Yay.
She would terrify me.
Oh, if I had to do any form of comedy in front of Loni Love, I would shit myself. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, if she lives for you, she lives for you. But if she doesn't,
yeah. I mean, I love. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure if she doesn't like you, people have felt her wrath really hard before.
Oh yeah.
There's something about her that is very intimidating.
Yeah. Very that. From the looks of it, I saw a couple of the previews for like a couple of the episodes from now. It seems like they're kind of doing the same thing they did with season 13 with the rotating guest judges because Lonnie's back. I believe next episode or the episode after is guest judged by, or next episode is Ava Max. The episode after that is Taraji P. Henson. And then the episode after that, which makes me think it's a cyclical thing, is T.S. Madison again. So I'm like, were they able to get a select few guest judges? Who knows? But I love that Loni Love is back. One of my absolute favorite guest judges ever. Provided one of the best moments from season 13 in the roast. Just and an overall just funny bitch. I love her.
Yeah, I like having her back. So.
I appreciate Ross and Carson for who they are and what they do. But honestly, if you replace the two of them and did a rotating panel of T.S. Madison, Loni Love, and Nicole Byer, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Yeah. I'd be more than fine with that. So let's dive into the runway. Category is Night of 1,000 J-Los, which Love it. It's about time we get some good J-Lo representation on Drag Race, because there's only been a few lip syncs and that's it. But we start with Willow Pill. I didn't write down where the looks originally were because I don't care. So. J-Lo was doing something.
I actually love this look, but Willow is such a time period person. Like, she's my high school years for me. So, like, she's just stuck in the mid to late 90s. Like, all the references. So, it's almost like when you smell something, it reminds you of somebody or some moment.
Yeah.
Kind of how I felt when she walked out.
Yeah. I think she is the only person on this cast that could have attempted this look and made it look good. Like, this is ugly on J-Lo. And I love J-Lo. And I think J-Lo's gorgeous. But this is ugly. And the fact that she was able to make this look good is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. Well, and I liked her answer too. It's like, well, it's kind of ugly.
Literally, like, that's what I would do. Like, we know, like, 9 times out of 10 on a Drag Race packing list, there's going to be a night of 1,000 somebody at this point. They've done it enough times that, like, you know it's coming. And so if you have one of them, like, pick a more obscure look.
Yeah, I would be too afraid to pick something like Carrie did.
We'll talk about Carrie, because I'm convinced at least one of the other girls brought the Versace dress and saw that Carrie had it. I just didn't. Because if I were to bring the Versace dress, I would bring a backup just in case. Like, that would be 100% my MO. Like, I'm not... Yeah, but Willow looks great.
The biggest problem with the night of 1,000 anything.
Kimonos. Kimonos and more kimonos.
They should just rename that night of 1,000 kimonos.
Honestly. I wouldn't hate... No, I would hate that. That's more...
We've already had it.
I mean, yes, but also, like, the borderline of cultural appropriation versus all of that. Just, yeah, no. I don't need that. Next up is Kornbread the Snack Jeté. This was a Met Gala look. I know this one. The Met Gala ones I know. The only issue for me was the hair, but otherwise I think she looks stunning.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope she has some bigger hair at some point this season, but if she's not a big hair queen, and from what I know of her, she's not.
Yeah.
And if she's not a hairstylist, it could be one of those things that could be difficult for the rest of the season. You know, if she did hair, she'd be like, okay, no problem. She'd backcomb the shit out of it, and we look great.
My knowledge of her is limited, but aided by SB Simone. I don't think she does her own hair. I don't think SB does either, actually, now that I think about it.
No, I mean, her hair matches what J-Lo's wearing.
Yes.
But it's hard, especially when you're a thicker queen. You have to have some lift. If not, it makes everything look boxier. Like, even if she would just bumped up, did that almost like Rue's hair. Like, if she would have had Rue style of hair,
that's all it needed. Genuinely, that's all it needed. Yeah. Because we've seen a few, like, her talent show hair was big hair, and then her leopard evening from the ball last week was big hair. So she's got a little bit. But yeah, that was quite literally the only issue I had with the look. I think otherwise it's a great recreation, and she looks amazing.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that the slit was more to the side and a little higher, but that's
sure.
That's me trying to pretend like I have fashion sense sitting here in my robe.
Literally me and my cardigan. I feel that. Next up is Lady Camden. I really like this.
I do too. Like, I wouldn't have thought it was a J-Lo look if they wouldn't have said so. I would have thought more it was like almost a Spice Girls mashup, like a little bit of sporty.
I mean, I think that's kind of what she's trying to go for. Because her MO apparently is Spice Girl. So Spice Girl meets J-Lo. I mean, that is what you would get.
Yeah, that's what I got. It was very kind of Spice Girl feel, a little bit, almost like Posh with some sporty in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would go on no. I really liked her. I was gonna say this is the best look from her so far, but I think I preferred actually her red, white, and blue bridal from last week.
But like she's got the body for it, so use
might
it.
As well. Exactly. Yeah, she looks great.
I mean, I'd wear it. It would I would look like a tangerine, like
Me too. Oh, it would be that.
Quite as much skin showing. I'd have to draw on a belly button.
Right?
Have to
be yes, very that. Oh, yes. Next up is Bosco. This was a Golden Globes look because it says so in the background of the photo. I really don't like this.
It's cute, but it's not like I didn't remember it until you put it up there.
What throws me off is, like, ironically, the thing that she was going for to make it the most J-Lo, which is the boobs. The boobs throw me off completely.
Yeah, it's very hard to make boobs look real in that cut. You just
I would have I think it would have been so fierce if she had just come flat chested, honestly. And I'm normally not an advocate for that. Because I like my queens like skinny, whatever. The skinny queens, but like I think that would have been so fierce and so Bosco of her to just come flat chested with the full slit. The problem for me as well, the boobs, and then my other issue is just that the draping isn't really all that similar to the draping of the original gown.
No, I feel like this was maybe a look that was more rushed, but understandable. They always have that one or two looks.
Oh, absolutely.
Aren't quite there because they had 2 weeks to get 100 things made.
Yeah. Is it 2 weeks now? I heard it was 3.
Oh, does it
matter? No. I don't know anymore. They filmed UK season 3 in 4 days, didn't you hear? God, I hate the fandom so much. Anyway, yeah, no, Bosco, this is what I honestly the hair though. This is what I wanted to see out of Kornbread.
Yeah.
Just the little bump, just to make it drag.
Really, they could have swapped hair and it would have been better.
Honestly, yeah.
Because Bosco could get away with flat hair because
skinny, ew.
Yeah.
But I do like Bosco. I like Bosco a lot. It's just this look was a no for me.
Yeah, I didn't think I would like Bosco. And
she's got such a specific MO. And yet, like, so far 4 episodes in, we're not really seeing her. And so I'm like, okay, when are we gonna get the Bosco breakthrough? Like, or is she gonna go home?
Like, I hope she has her moment.
I feel like she's gonna end up being the queen because there always comes a point around like top 8, top 9 where everyone's won a challenge except for 2 people, and then conveniently in the next episode, one of them wins and one of them goes home. And I feel like she's going to be in like the sink or swim where it's like, are you going to win this challenge or are you going to go home? That's almost what I feel like with Bosco. I hope not because I like her, but I fear that. overall with her. But next up, fuck this bitch. It's Carrie Colby in J-Lo's 2019 Versace revival gown. In the gown. And this is the best photo I could get that showed the gown and the original photo. So
it's hard to like even tell them apart almost.
Are they not the same? Are they not the same person? Because I think they are.
Carrie's legs go a little bit higher, but she said she's quite a bit taller.
And the heel is different, and I actually like Carrie's heel as opposed to what J-Lo has in the original.
Yeah.
And it's difficult with Night of 1,000 J-Los because of how iconic this look is. Because this is literally the look that launched Google image search. Like how, like, I knew someone was going to have it, and I'm happy it's Carrie.
Yeah, there's some people I've just been like, what? Why?
Literally. If this had come from, like, I don't know, Willow, I would have been like, why? Like, why are we doing this? But, I mean, there's literally nothing to say. She looks perfect.
Yeah. Well, and that also shows, like, that's the difference in her and Bosco's. They both have the open chest, but if you don't have the cleavage, and it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And that wouldn't have been the same if Carrie didn't have it, but
yeah,
she has.
She sure does, and she looks great.
She knows it, and everybody else knows it too.
Yep. I just fear that she's going to be another one of the trope, and I hate comparing like queens season by season, but like, is she just going to be the pretty girl that doesn't have much substance when it comes to Drag Race challenges? She's got a lot of substance within herself, and as a person, and as a woman, and as a drag queen. But is she going to have the substance when it comes to Drag Race specifically?
Mm-hmm.
And I fear she's going to end up in the category for me of amazing drag queen who's just not good at Drag Race. And that's okay. But I want to see her go a lot further in the competition that I fear she's going to.
Yep. Yeah, I feel that way too.
Yeah. But she's beautiful. So who cares? Next up is Gorgeous Like Georges, and not in this look.
No.
No.
If the nude illusion matched her skin better, it would have been.
I would have been okay. Yeah. Or hell, even like, I would have even like, I would have been more okay if it had just been like a straight up white instead of this like pale flesh tone that doesn't match. It doesn't even attempt to match her skin tone.
No, that's jazz tan or jazzy tan. It's that is the color I wear, and
good. Yeah, it's no.
Yeah, that's that's the only problem I had with it. Which I mean, the nude could have been dyed, but also that could be difficult.
Yeah, like take away the fact that it's a J-Lo runway, like Night of 1,000 J-Los. Take that away. It's a cute bodysuit,
but it's not the same.
No, but like if you ignore the fact that she's trying to replicate J-Lo, it's cute. Just for this, it's a no.
Yeah, no, I'm right there.
And she also talked about as well, like winning a celebrity impersonation pageant as J-Lo.
Not wearing that.
Definitely not wearing that. I think they showed a photo and I was like, oh yeah, that's J-Lo, sure. But yeah, I'm really liking Georges a lot more than I thought I was going to. She's the one that really surprised me from cast assessment to now. This just wasn't as strong. This and last week. I talked about it in last week's episode, but my bottom two was I think it was Georges and Maddie.
Yeah, I would agree with that last week.
How she ended up at the top is beyond me, and how she wasn't in the bottom this week was beyond me. But yeah, it was a no for me. Sorry, Georges, but you're gorgeous, like Georges, so sure. Next is Jasmine Kennedy. Again, the only shot I could get full body with the photo as well, because I wanted the reference in there. So it's a horrible angle of Jasmine, but what did you think of her look?
I really liked it. I almost feel like the same person made this that made her white skater looking outfit thing. Like it,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Like the fit and everything, it feels like it comes from the same person. But of course, me, it's like the only thing I saw is I wish it would have ombre'd a little more gradual. But that's just me being like, oh, the other one did. But but other than that, I really liked it. I actually liked that she used the messy hair too, so it was it was nice.
So this gown was created by Angela Alaya Couture. I was curious, so I looked it up. And the white bodysuit from the ball was actually made by her drag mother, Mancy Mandel.
Well, maybe they're cousins.
Right. And then for some reason, oh no, wait, is that real? For some reason, Madeline Hatter is tagged in her photo, and I'm not sure why. Oh, it was hair from Madeline Hatter. Got it. That makes a lot of sense. No, I really like this look as well. The hair, though incredibly accurate, I was torn on. I think I've decided that I'm okay with it because it was 100% or as close to 100% accurate as she could get.
It does make her look older to me, and that would be my only thing.
It was very my number one critique was matronly.
Yeah.
But because I think the gown is
pretty young, but she looks like
she's
closer to my age.
She's younger than me and looks twice her age. Which, I mean, if that's your MO, go off, girl. But that wouldn't be mine. We'll just say that. Maddie Morphosis in the inauguration outfit that JLo wore to the 2021 inauguration. This was smart, I think is how I feel about it. It was a smart choice for her.
She looks really good in it. And like, I'm from Oklahoma, and it very much feels like the drag in that part of the country. You know, and Fayetteville's very close to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So like her style, I fully get it. Like every week, it just feels like home, really.
Sure.
It's like the pageantry you get there. But she was, even though I know it's a JLo look, I was getting more Winona Judd from it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, I see that. Yeah.
But I liked it. It was a different feel from the other ones.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot more serious.
Yeah. I had an issue not with the look, because I think the look is really good, and the way she styled it was good. For me, it was like you said, this almost serious nature, and she walked the runway in a very like stern, sort of like uptight situation, which is not JLo.
Yeah. She looked almost like she was sad.
Yeah, I almost wish she had like just gone full JLo and like had come out and maybe started with the like more serious business, and then like taken off the gloves, taken off the hat, and like done like a let's get loud thing. I feel like that would have been really cute.
Yeah, I really thought this was going to come off.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with everything so covered up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to change.
Right. But it didn't. Oh, well. But she looks good. This is also the best I think her face has looked in the competition.
She looks like she sings in a country pop trio. Like,
yeah.
That's just what I get from her. I feel like she's going to pull a fiddle out at any moment.
Sure.
Fiddle solo in a ballad.
Or an electric guitar, perhaps. I hate myself for that one. All right, Deja Sky doing, I believe this was a performance. Was it? This wasn't Super Bowl, but this was a J-Lo performance. Yeah. She looks great. The only issue I have is with the caftan robe situation. And if it just had some sort of pattern with similar colors, I think I would have been okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was missing for me is that I feel like there could have been some kind of pattern. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I almost kind of wish that the inside of it was lined with a pattern similar to what J-Lo was wearing.
That would have been a cute, like, I'm doing my own thing, but like, ooh, I still remember the reference sort of situation.
Yeah. That was the only thing was missing is J-Lo has such a strong pattern, and Deja has no pattern.
Yeah, but I think this is stunning, beautiful, gorgeous, amazing.
Her body is right. Like,
her body is so right. God help us all. Like, I love Deja. I love Deja. I'm obsessed with Deja. I love Deja.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to care for her going into the season, and I really like her.
Yeah, she's the kind of queen I always find myself rooting for.
Yeah, she's
plus yeah, plus all the big girls. I 99% of the time I root for the big girl. So shocker, it's happening again. Shocker, spoiler, it's happening again. Diabetes.
It's
fine.
It's close to the original. Like, I would wear this. Like,
this is probably
not on the
main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race. No, I think this is probably the closest match to the original. I think it's fine. I think she looks pretty. And given her performance, it was just a very safe week for Diabetes, which, having already been eliminated once, is not a bad thing.
No. I'd be happy to be safe.
Absolutely. Safe every week? Cool. I'm more than fine with that. All right. Angie.
Yeah. Like, this was such a good look. Yes. I almost feel like she didn't even need to have this made. I feel like she already had it. Like,
I would bet good money she already had this.
It's such a strong pageant look. Mm-hmm. Also, it's what you see from the Southern pageant title holders.
Yep.
What you expect to see when they're doing a ballad and collecting all their money.
Yep. I will say the one thing, and I am obsessed with Angie. She is one of, if not my favorite of the season. My worry now, we're 4 episodes in. She's been in 3 of the episodes. My worry now is everything going to be a pageant gown? I need something. We got a little bit of it last week in the ball, but I need just a little bit of a switch in the fashion department, because she's got the personality and the comedy and the acting chops that she didn't even know she had. We got all that. I just need a little bit of a tweak in the fashion. And because she's such a professional, I feel like we're going to see it. There just haven't been the runway categories for her to do so. But that's the one worry I have now 4 episodes in.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that could be a hard thing for a pageant queen, too, is to get out of that perfection.
Yeah.
If you're there, that's what you're taught. It's hard to break that. You think everything has to be sparkly, and it's like there's a checklist of things you go down, and it's hard to leave that checklist alone.
No, absolutely, and like I fully understand that as well. I would just like to see, and her Red Hot Resort look I think was a little different, which I loved seeing. I want to see her diversify a little bit more. And now that, spoiler, she has 2 wins, I think now is going to be the time where she can really get a little bit more experimental if she has the looks to do so. Because now she's kind of in this like fairly safe bubble. I mean, anything can happen on Drag Race, but she's in a fairly safe bubble. She's got 2 wins out of 3 competitive episodes that she's been in. They're not going to touch Angie for the next couple of episodes unless she absolutely bombs something. And even then, producers are probably still going to find a way to rig it and keep her safe. So I think now is the time for her, if she has anything in her wardrobe, now is the time for her to pull out something a little bit different from the Angie that she's done at home.
Yep.
But I think she's the only queen that I would say that about at this point. Like, the only person that I think hasn't shown a whole lot of range on the runway. I think everybody else has done a pretty good job. We've had, 7 or so looks, including the entrance at this point?
Oh, yeah, except I forgot about the ball.
Yeah. That fully happened last week. 42 looks. We talked about all of them last week here on the Cup.
Oh,
it
God.
was a lot. Yeah, we did all 42. I did it with my IRL friend Jay. So her and I were just sitting next to each other looking at the looks. It was a good time. Go check out the episode. But it was a good time. I enjoyed it. But all right. Second to last, Alyssa Hunter. This was spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, she's stunning. It was spot on. I want her cheekbones.
I want her. Period.
I feel like that's a consensus of most people.
Yeah. It's interesting that the quote-unquote trade of the season now, 2 seasons in a row, has gone home second.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. If I got on, I wouldn't go home second.
Yeah. You're guaranteed to not go home second. No, I'm kidding. Just make it past episode 1. Episode 2, you're good. I kid. No, I mean, this is just perfection in every possible way. There's really nothing else to say.
Yep.
And I really like her. I'm sad that we lost her. We'll talk about the lip sync because, oh boy. But yes. Last up tonight is going to be Orion Story. And I'm glad we got a side view because I didn't want to see that makeup again.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite.
No.
I do know that she stoned all of the veining and everything on there herself. So, I mean,
did she make the whole look?
No, her friend made the dress, and then she did all the veining on it because they couldn't find appliques or anything. So she did all that by hand.
I mean, my problem is not with the gown. I think the gown is one of the most beautiful things on the runway. The issue is, did she run out of time doing her makeup?
It wasn't the best.
It was all, and I noticed this as well when the promos came out, Because the big thing with promos is they're typically done after the first episode. So I noticed it was a very similar makeup this week to what she did in her promo, where everything was just very light, and she had like a nude lip, which doesn't help when everything else is so light.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big concern I had was last week when she had her leopard print whatever. I thought her makeup was so good in that, and I'm like, where? What? I find her just to be an enigma overall.
Yeah, she has her moments when she's real good, but I don't know. I just think maybe it just either wasn't a good makeup day, or she was running behind, or she just was not inspired really to try anything. So she's like, oh, I'll just go simple and safe and pretty. And it's
which like I said, I think it's one of the best garments on the runway tonight. I actually really like this hair on her as well. Just a little bit bumped up a little bit more because it was a little flat. But it's just everything else that goes along with it just wasn't great. Sorry, Orion. Orion. Onion story. It feels like two sides of the coin too when it in looking at like Orion versus Daya, because it feels like Daya has come back and there is a fire under her ass and she's like doing everything she can to perform, and it feels like Orion is just fading into the background. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was the next to go.
Well, the thing is, like, she's just a real chill person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and sometimes that doesn't always relate to TV. I mean, she's just a real chill person. I mean, you kind of see that in the way she carries herself, the way she talks. But you're on TV, you got to turn it up.
Yeah.
Especially with some of these personalities. Like,
this is the personality season.
Yeah.
Like, hands down 100%. But was there anything from the super teasers that we didn't talk about before that stood out to you? Because we talked about Angie's moments. We talked a little bit about Deja. Was there anyone else that stood out for you in the challenge?
I did like Maddie's, to be honest.
Me too. Like, I really did.
The dancing queen is here. Like, I honked. I sound like a goose. Like, because it was, I don't know. It felt almost like that's how she would have, like, she would have actually done that if she would have if she would have let go a little bit more. I feel like if she would have been more herself, I would like to actually see her enter the workroom that way, like day one. But I really think she's been so much in her head.
Well, and RuPaul also not letting her share with the girls that she's a straight man. I think that kind of really fucked her up.
Well, yeah, I've tried to think what it would feel like on that side, and the most I can really think that way is like when I first came out and like the first time actually being around other gay people in a gay club in that situation, when your whole life has been singing in Opry's in Southern Oklahoma, and then you're in a city and there's drag queens and everything, you feel like the only straight guy in the world in that moment because it's your first time around it. And that's almost, and even though Maddie's been doing this a few years, there's still a lot of I'm sure her in her head, just knowing that she's different.
Yeah.
So which I really like to see the flip side of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I want to see a straight person struggle, but I like.
I would like to see a straight person struggle today.
It makes Maddie relatable. Like, you see some things that kind of show that we're not all so different.
Yeah.
So I do like that. Yeah. But Maddie, like, for me, like, loved Maddie in this one. I really liked Willow.
I did too.
When they were recording it, I was like, I don't know that I'm really getting what Willow's doing here. But when it was all put together, it was so stupid.
Jeffrey, where's I was promised a meal voucher, Jeffrey. It was so for me. I almost wish it had been a top 4, and I would have done Willow, Deja, Angie, and Maddie. Because I do think, especially as a team captain, I think Maddie deserved her spot in the top.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think over any of the other 3 girls. And then if it comes down to runway, I think of the 4, she did have the weakest runway. So I would understand if she wasn't in the top for that. But I really thought Maddie did a great job. I also want to point out, she had 2 lines in the entire thing. She had the dancing queen is here, and she had her fake crying confessional, which that was the moment that I remembered from the original actual season trailer.
Yeah, I thought that was a real moment.
Yeah. It turns out it's not. But those are the only 2 lines. Everything else she did in the challenge was reactionary. And that shows the level of comedy and improv chops that she really has.
I like watching her react to other people. Like was it last week or a couple weeks ago when RuPaul had her her moment. Maddie's reaction to RuPaul was my favorite part of the whole episode.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I really liked Willow as well. Like you said, I wasn't sure where it was going, but this whole play on The Bachelor, including this prior Drag Race reference, I thought was so smart. My favorite moment of the entire thing was Deja in the mirror. You know, I was born at such a young age. I couldn't even walk. Like that for me, my roommate and I were quite literally, I'm not exaggerating, on the floor laughing. I fell off of my couch laughing so hard at Deja Sky.
Well, it came across so natural and believable.
And that's what made it perfect.
Like, it didn't feel forced at all. Like, it could have easily been pushed too far.
Yeah.
But it was the way it was so understated. It was almost like, and then everybody's reaction of, like, oh my God.
What? I think overall this was incredibly strong, just from all 13 of them, honestly.
Yeah. Or like even just the moment when she's like, I'm straight too.
Yeah, the Daya, I am straight too was really good. I really liked, this was kind of obscure, but I really liked Orion and her moment being like, Orion isn't just my drag character. She's the love of my life. And then making out with herself in the mirror. I thought that was really funny. And then I actually really liked Carrie's moment where she's like, I'm just so sorry that you can't wake up and be me. I died. I died. It was so good.
And I still like one of my favorite parts through that, and I've skipped back and watched it probably 50 times now. It's just like the 1/4-second clip of Willow in the talent portion with the streamers. Like just
was it Bosco that was like, this one's for Carson? And then the ball popped out. Like Bosco I thought was really good. I think the person I would have put maybe like 5th if Willow, Maddie, Angie, and Deja were my top 4. My number 5, honestly, just consistent and funny throughout the whole part that she was in, was honestly Lady Camden. Playing this like exaggerated American character. I thought that was so smart of her. I thought the moments where she was reactionary were funny. I thought Lady Camden did a great job with this challenge as well. But again, I think there were 2 people I thought that genuinely struggled. And one of them went home, and the other one wasn't even in the bottom.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be... I thought it was going to be Georges and...
Absolutely same.
Alyssa in the bottom, and I was like, "Ooh, this is going to be
a lip sync."
A lip sync." But I was also not expecting that song either.
Oh yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a J-Lo song.
They referenced "Let's Get Loud" a couple times, so I was really hoping. I was like, "Please." Yeah. But of course, like my first time I ever did drag, "Let's Get Loud" was my second number I did the first night.
I love that.
It's very much like,
sure, yeah.
That's my favorite J-Lo song, but that was my first night in drag, so
I was talking
popular. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking with my roommate about like what songs we would want to see in the future, and I think my number one is Love Don't Cost a Thing. I feel like that would be it's up tempo enough, but yet mellow enough that like it would work. And it would be a difficult song to lip sync to. But I truly thought, with Georges saying that she won a pageant as a J-Lo impersonator, I truly thought we were going to get a Cheryl Hole lip-syncing Cheryl Cole in front of Cheryl Cole moment. I truly thought we were going to get Georges lip-syncing to J-Lo in this moment, and then it felt almost flat, mostly because I think Georges... I honestly think Georges was the worst. Because at least with Alyssa, she had a few funny moments, and obviously like the character she was trying to play just didn't work. I couldn't tell you a single thing Georges did in the challenge.
The only thing I remember is her sitting back in her chair looking at Carrie while Carrie was saying a line to her like, "Sorry, you don't see what I see." That's what I remember the most. So I was I was shocked. I really thought it was going to be a Georges and Alyssa. And I was like, oh, this, like, even talked to my friend because we were watching it live together. It was like, oh, they're setting this up for those two.
Yeah.
This is so produced. The J-Lo and they have the two Latinas, like.
Yeah. And then it wasn't. It was like.
I'm like, did they really want to watch Carrie in that dress that much? They wanted to watch somebody perform in that dress?
I guess.
That's the only thing I could think, because they wanted to see somebody perform in that dress.
Yeah. For me, quite personally, I don't even think Carrie should have been in the bottom two.
No.
My bottom three was Alyssa, Georges, and unfortunately Kornbread.
Yeah. I'm glad Kornbread wasn't, but she could have easily.
She could have easily been in the bottom.
Out. Like, I was afraid it was going to be Kornbread and Carrie.
That would have been worst case scenario. That truly would have been worst case scenario. I saw the bottom three, and obviously the bottom three was Kornbread, Carrie, and Alyssa. I saw the bottom three and went instantly, it's Carrie and Alyssa. There's not a chance they're going to risk Kornbread in this moment, but they're going to put her in the bottom three to be like, girl, what's happening? Because you're delivering, but now you're delivering one note, so we need a few changes from you. So I saw it immediately. As far as the winner, though, I genuinely think it could have gone to any of the three. We do find out that the winner of the challenge is Angie, winning her second challenge in 3 episodes that she's been a part of.
Yeah.
I think... Oh, God.
She's the one to beat.
Yeah.
Right now. And it's so obvious. Like, first week, I was like, it's Kornbread's to lose. And now Kornbread's behind Angie, and she needs to...
Yep. I think for me, as much as I love Angie and You Ugly Bitch was iconic, I think for me personally, I would have given the win to Deja.
Yeah.
Because I think Deja overall was funnier, but I think they were on such a similar level, and I would put Willow there as well, that when it comes down to Runway, Angie just looked the best.
Yeah.
Like, no question between the three, Angie looks the best. So, nevertheless, I am very excited for Angie getting her second win. And obviously, we talked about the bottom three. We do get a bottom two of Alyssa Hunter and Carrie Colby, lip syncing to Play by J-Lo. I think Alyssa won this lip sync.
Alyssa lost because of a malfunctioning money gun,
yep.
and she didn't leave it alone. That's why she lost.
Yep.
There was too much. She spent too much time on it.
I still think even with the malfunction and even with focusing on it, I still think she won the lip sync.
Yeah, but I think
why she
probably
lost.
how it was justified, but I kind of felt it going into it. I'm like, they're just waiting for a moment to give it to Carrie.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they expected Carrie to not step it up, I guess.
Well, and my thing is, I'd seen videos of Carrie perform prior to the season. And I think she's stunning and gorgeous and beautiful, and she's a lovely woman. She's a great confessional queen. I think the next time she's in the bottom two, she goes home against anyone left. Because I just don't think her performing ability is strong enough. And I hate saying that because I think she's great overall, but it wasn't a strong performance. And while I understand that there were limitations because she's wearing J-Lo's dress, I think there were still a lot of things she could have done and didn't. She had a few comedic moments and I thought those were good. But overall, I felt more of a drive and more of a motivation to be in the competition from Alyssa, regardless of the malfunction.
Yeah. And there right at the end, I thought, well, Alyssa deserves to stay, but...
Yes. But it's going to be Carrie.
Yeah.
I basically said that exact thing to my roommate. I was like, it's going to be Carrie, but Alyssa did better, in my opinion.
I mean, I've watched it back a couple times, and...
I have too, yeah.
I feel like they tried to focus too much on Alyssa being like yada. And
it was very choppy as well. That was my biggest thing. It's like it felt it was chopped up too much.
Yeah, and I mean that could easily been editing because her parts out of that still were funny.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
production.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. We do lose Alyssa Hunter. She opens her chocolate bar, which I forgot about. I'll be honest. I was like, oh, chocolate bar. Oh shit. She did not have gold. Which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that after her being the first Puerto Rican queen on a regular season since Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
Has it been that long?
Cynthia was the last Puerto Rican queen on a regular season of Drag Race. We've had a lot of them on All Stars, obviously. Yara Sofia, Alexis Mateo. We've had a lot of them on All Stars, but Alyssa is the first on a regular season since Cuckoo. And the fact that she is the first queen since Cuckoo to be on and goes home second, I think it's justified from the challenge performance. I can justify it, but from that lip sync, I can't. And I love Carrie, but it's just unfortunate that we lose Alyssa here.
Yeah. I didn't think Alyssa would go home.
Not at all.
But like I said, we both figured Georges would have been there with Alyssa, and I was thinking, it's going to be the two of them, and they're going to turn it out. It's going to be a double save.
Or they're going to rig it to where Alyssa wins somehow and Georges gets the chocolate bar. That's honestly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And we lose Alyssa. And I'm sad.
Yeah, she's nice to look at, too.
Absolutely. But I also think
agreed.
Yes. But I also think she's, and I think it was Michelle, because I watched the What You Packin', and Michelle was like, you're a great queen. You're gonna do great. Like, the fact that you didn't do well on Drag Race, oh well, you're gonna do amazing. You literally work with Miss Puerto Rico training their queens on how to walk. Like, you're gonna be fine. And I think the world is just gonna completely embrace her, and I really hope that they embrace her in the way, again, back to season 13 and back to the second boot, I really hope they embrace her in the way that Joey J has been embraced. And not just because he is very good to look at, but also because she is a great drag artist.
Yeah, she really is stunning in and out of drag, and that doesn't happen very often.
Right.
That it translates equally into drag. Usually if you get somebody that's just stunning out of drag, they're not.
It's a break.
Really so much.
Rose.
Rose.
Rose. But with that, that's the episode. I didn't watch Untucked. I'm gonna be very honest.
I watched it this morning.
Was there anything of note?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
Cool. I mean, if you can't remember anything, then clearly not. But
this is probably going to sound really shady, and I don't mean it in a shady way, but I just, out of curiosity, because I've only talked to one other person about this, so I'm like, is it just me?
Mm-hmm.
But Lady Camden, there's something about her that gives me Herbert the Pervert, but like younger. Like when she's out of drag, there's something, and I know that sounds shady, but like,
oh,
I don't mean that in a shady way. Like,
I mean,
I don't mean it in. I know it's
kind of,
but
I see it. I think it's
like,
the hair specifically.
Like I think sometimes I wonder what Herbert would look like as like a younger twink type, because you know he was. Yeah. And then when I saw Lady Camden on drag, I'm like,
that's
Herbert.
It. Yeah. No, that's shady. I know you don't mean it to be, but it is. Just a little bit.
I had also had a few beers the first time I saw her at drag. So I'm like, maybe.
Sure.
So sure. I think that's, and people are probably going to say me hate mail now, but.
The only person that watches and comments on these videos is Deja Sky herself. So,
I'm glad it's not Lady Camden. Edit.
Cut that out. We're not cutting it out. All right, Lucy, before we head out, give me your top four. Who are your top four at this point in the season?
Top four: Kornbread, Angeria, Willow.
Yep.
Whew, that last one.
That fourth spot is difficult, yeah.
Before this week, I would have said Carrie, but I would almost say Maddie. Maddie's like a fourth.
Wow. Okay.
Either way. But I think it really depends on if Maddie lets go a little more. Mm-hmm. Like if Maddie just opens up a little bit more because she's got it.
Yeah.
But you don't know. Or no, Deja. Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
I would say Deja, but like I also feel like Maddie could be that sneak in there. Mm-hmm. There's something about Maddie. It's like I don't know yet. There's still a lot of mystery there.
Yeah. My like fifth in there, because I would agree it would be Kornbread, Angie, Willow, and Deja. My fifth in there, honestly, is Diabetti. I feel like one of Daya and Orion is going to end up making it very far. And at this point, from what we've seen, I think it's more likely to be Daya than it is Orion.
Yeah, I see that. So, that was the one thing from Untucked. I was like, there was something from Untucked. But I brought up with my friend earlier because he hadn't watched it either. Mm-hmm. But in Untucked, Orion was laying on the couch and like Georges was like right here in Orion's, but they were like holding hands. Orion's like her back, Georges like rubbing Orion's leg the entire episode. But nobody ever said anything, so it may just be like a friendly, oh, we cuddle. But I'm like, is anybody else seeing the way they're holding hands? And
I might have to go watch Untucked now.
It was more like playing with the finger, kind of hold the hands over the shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe I need to go watch Untucked.
I knew there was something with Untucked.
Sure,
and that's what I kept focusing on. I was like, are they a thing? But and I kept waiting for somebody to bring it up, but
nope. Well, I mean,
next week.
Well, and I was gonna say, to be fair, I think it was like episode 4 or 5 when Brooke and Vanjie got brought up as a storyline. So
yeah,
who knows? I will say next week I'm very excited because we get the return of my hometown queen, Tempest du Jour, which I'm very excited about, as well as James Mansfield and Kimora Hall. And they're doing some sort of acting challenge for a new charity or whatever for First Boot Queens.
Yeah, I didn't see what they were coming back for, but I was like, why are they having those 3 back?
It's like some sort of... I mean, I'm happy. Kimora, I think because she's the most recent. And I think most people universally agree... There's some disagreement, but universally, a lot of people agree that like James and Tempest are like the best of the first boots. I also
Tempest went out first because I didn't expect it her season.
Tempest went first and Joey went second, and that's the Arizona drag representation we've had. And then, Dolly won Dragula. So like we're good.
Well,
no. And I just realized too, oh no. So Tempest went first, Joey went second, Fermelda went first, Astrid went second, Dolly won. That's the Arizona. Wait, what?
Well, then it's time for somebody from Arizona to win. Which, I mean, maybe. Phoenix has a lot of really good drag, so I'm surprised.
Phoenix has some great... I'm genuinely surprised more Phoenix queens have not been on. My personal pick, and I don't know if she's auditioned, and she's probably never going to see this, but Savannah Stevens. She's a pageant girl. Arizona pageant drag is incredible, and she is the single best Reba impersonator I've ever seen.
I'm surprised that Mary Jane has not been on. Of course, I don't know if she has auditioned, but like Mary Jane or Aria B. Cassadine surprised me that she's never been on. Which I was happy to see. I was happy to see her on Queen of the Universe, but I always expect her to pop up on Drag Race.
Yeah.
So probably next season.
Aria's another one, yeah. I mean, now that she's been on Queen of the Universe, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aria. I wouldn't be surprised to see Novazar from Queen of the Universe. Nova needs better than she got, or better than they got on Queen of the Universe, point blank.
Agreed.
But yes, that mess. That's a conversation maybe for another day on here, because we didn't cover Queen of the Universe, and I don't know if I ever want to. Regardless, that's what we think about episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh, I'm sorry. RuPaul's Best Friends Southern Hospitality Race. I missed one of them, but I don't remember what it was. RuPaul's Make Him Laugh. Whatever. Southern Hospitality Race. Drag Race. That show. That show we talked about for an hour and a half. Let us know what y'all think. It's been a long day. Let us know what y'all think in the comments. Tweet at us. All of Lucy's links will be available in the description below, so make sure to go check her out. Are you doing any other fun things other than doing life?
Doing life. Outside of taking care of kids, I mean, just my makeup brand stuff. So check that out. Profanity Cosmetics.
That'll be linked below as well.
Yeah, because we got some new products came out last week. We got the Pro Palette.
Yes.
Well, I got it here. I might as well show you. But it's got
work.
all the colors.
Love that.
Tonight was the first time I actually got to use this, and this shit shows up. So
yeah, it looks good. Through my glasses and through the screen, through the double, it looks real good.
We also, if you like greens, we also have a little I Kissed a Frickin' Frog palette, which is all greens and yellows. So
I love that.
Yeah. Which green's not typically a color story I go for. So somewhere in this release, I came up with a whole green line.
I love that.
What you do. So
sure, why not?
Check them out. Use profanity to save some money.
Yes, and all
like
of that.
Actual word profanity.
Work. I love that. But yes, all of that will be linked below. Luci, thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me. It was
always, fun. Always. There will be more Luci, so if you like Luci, stay tuned because there's 40,000 seasons of Drag Race coming this year, and she'll likely be on at least one episode of all of them.
That's usually what they say at the buffets when I show up. Is like, oh, there's going to be more of Luci.
Me too. Me too. All right. With that, we will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Bye-bye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye.